Okay, everybody. Welcome back to another 2 p.m. PST Twitch stream. I'm your host, Strange Road Jim, and today we are going to be getting back into Pega, as always. Starting at 2 p.m. here, or at least 2 p.m. my time anyway. Um, Today we're going to be covering the added optional actions to our workflow. That was the next module that we were going to be working on for the low-code app builder extended here. We've finished off the sizing a Pega platform yesterday, so and I showed the fact that you could have like different estimations based off of what type of team you have, right? Um, it didn't really allow for you to like modify a team at all, so that was a little interesting. Maybe I need to kind of look into that a little bit more. Um, but it didn't really give you. Uh, it didn't really seem like it gave you that option to modify the team. So um, if it gives you that option, then that would be interesting to see how that what their estimates would be in terms of like which you know do they one would assume that the more senior and lead um, architects you have, it would reduce down the amount of hours you would figure, but not sure. Um, but so yeah, we covered that yesterday. We're going to be going over again the adding optional actions to workflow. If we finish this module up fairly quickly, like in 30 minutes or so, then we'll move on to the challenge. Um, but it depends. I mean, we have 10 minutes for the module and then 5 minutes for the quiz afterwards. Um, so, um, okay. So to start off with, I want to mention the fact that, uh, well, I'm gonna go into my normal details that I give normally at the very beginning in these videos. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can feel free to skip ahead a little bit. But um, these streams, these videos aren't endorsed by Pega whatsoever. So don't assume that um, that I'm in some way associated with them, um, which isn't the case. Okay, I'm just working towards getting my system architect certification and maybe getting the business architect as well, seeing that they're fairly, at least, the business architect, has a lot that's in common with the system architect. Um, they only have like two modules that are added after the low code app builder and the low code app builder extended. That's different than the system architect. System architect has a lot more um, after both of those missions are done, um, but it doesn't have those two modules for the business. So I may take those, take those two different modules and see, if I learn anything else um, that I might have missed from last time that I did this um, in my setting. But we're working on getting to a point where um, I can take those certifications and hopefully pass them. Um, we'll see. My last attempt didn't go that well. I missed a couple. Well, I missed a lot of questions, but um, I missed about 6 questions below the minimum. There was a lot of questions there that was part of Pega 7 that was never really covered in the mission, and and the missions that I studied, and through the company training that I got, which wasn't great. Um, so I'm hoping that this attempt will be better, seeing that I've had some amount of work experience. I don't know. So far I've had some modules that I wasn't 100% sure about, but I'll still kind of try to work towards it. Um, Now, um, I just want to, restate, I am not considered an authorized training partner. Okay, don't consider me as such. Okay, if anything, use these videos as a, you know, possible tool to help you work towards your certifications itself. Okay. Um, hopefully you're watching these and, doing the modules, doing the missions along with me and, learning along with me as well. Um, I am not, don't consider me an instructor. I'm not certified as one, so don't consider me as such. Pega does have instructor-led training that if you want to go that route, I would encourage you doing so because one would hope that a Pega instructor, someone that is associated with Pega, knows what they're talking about, knows the ins and outs of Pega, and can train you in all the positives and negatives of Pega. You know, of course they'll probably just say, this is all positives, but no. um, I won't necessarily sugarcoat it for you. It's not always all positive. Okay. Um, but at least with the instructor-led training, they'll kind of teach you the ins and outs of Pega, or at least hopefully they would. For the money that you pay for their training, one would hope. And for me, the training is, to me, is expensive. But I mean, you're paying an instructor, someone that probably has like multiple certifications and, you know, like I said, probably knows Pega, you know, backwards and forwards, or at least one would hope. Um, they don't need to bring in a second individual to help teach you. Okay. Um, yeah, that actually happened with me. Um, so, um, but yeah, like I said, don't consider me an instructor. Use this more as a helpful tool or something to kind of maybe look at and or have in the background or something like that while you're doing the mission yourself, what have you. Okay. Um, you know, uh, since I'm doing this so that I can stay focused on working towards my certification, and because I'm uploading it to YouTube, maybe it'll help out someone else as well. So that's my and those are my intentions. So at least you know upfront about it. So, all right, let's get into optional actions, shall we? Okay, so as the case progresses through its life cycle, specific tasks may need to be completed depending on the situation. You can find actions that users optionally perform during case processing. These actions are called optional actions. Optional actions may depend on the specifics of the case. For example, while reporting a car accident to the insurance company, the customer mentions having a new phone number. Customer representative uses an optional action to update the customer's contact information. Optional actions may also be common case processing actions that may be invoked by varying times during the case. For example, Pega Platform provides an optional change stage action that may be called at any time during case processing. So, you know, when you're running through when you're running through that particular case type, um, you'll you'll see in the like upper left corner or so, there's a drop down called actions, and that's what the change stage is all about. So if we get to see it, I'll try to show it to you, but depending on the business need, the optional action can be a process of a series of steps. Uh, Wait, hold on. The optional action can be a process if a series of steps are required, or a user action if exactly one step is required. Optional actions are accessible at runtime from the Actions menu in the case. Use an optional action to configure a single action that users can invoke at any time during a particular stage, or at any time during the case, such as updating information in a single screen or transferring the case to another user. Consider a loan application that a customer service agent in a call center fills out. If the customer phone number has changed, the agent can update the customer contact data. Updating the address can be done on a single screen, so you can configure the optional user action. In the following image, click the plus icons, blah, blah, blah. So, personal customer service agent in a call center starts a loan application. While entering the loan information, the customer asks the agent to update a phone number. The agent launches the update contact optional user action. We go to update contact. The agent updates and then submits the contact information on a single screen, which it then goes back to the loan, and then they process and send it on. The agent returns to entering loan information and continues processing the case. Use an optional process to configure a series of steps that users can invoke at any time during a particular stage or at any time during the case. Consider an online shopping case type. You want customers to be able to cancel their order as long as their items have not yet shipped. You determine that order cancellation is a multi-step process, so you configure an optional process. In the following image, click the plus icons to learn more about the cancel order optional process, right? So you're shopping, customer creates an order. Okay. It goes to confirm billing details, order cancellation. Customer cancels an order before the items have shipped, which launches the cancel order optional process. Um, the case transition from the primary path to the optional process, cancel order. In this situation, the case does not return to the primary path after the cancel order optional process completes. Well, potentially. You know, they could, like maybe they start the process, or they click the button of cancel order, but maybe they clicked it incorrectly, so maybe they just want to cancel the cancel order. So in that case, you might want to have that go back to the confirm billing details. Also, this should have an arrow from the whole shopping cart as well. Same kind of deal there. Where, hey, maybe they want to cancel their entire shopping cart. Clear out their shopping cart completely. Same, same kind of deal there. That they should have something like that, but it's not being considered here, so not exactly complete, but whatever. All right. Case-wide and stage-only actions. You can add optional actions as case-wide or stage-only actions. If your action or process is only relevant in the context of a specific stage, configure the work as stage-only action. Pega platform provides some built-in case-wide actions, for example, change stage and transfer assignment. So, So in the upper right of the workflow tab in the case lifecycle, click optional actions to display existing optional actions or add new case-wide or stage-only optional actions. Case-wide, stage-only, blah, blah. So, um, so this cancel order, by this example right here, could be a stage-only action, right? By this example. But what I was saying, with the shop and the confirm would be a case-wide because you could have it, be, you could have it, happen on, um, the, while you're trying to shop, you just want to clear out the shopping cart. Maybe you find out that you don't have any money or something like that, or you're having some, you find out that, you know, uh, uh, well, maybe you don't have any money, but maybe you're like, uh, you want to purchase just a few items or something like that, or something along those lines. Like maybe you can't purchase everything that you want. Like you know, you wanted to initially to buy 5 items, but you can only afford four, so you had to remove one item or something like that. Then maybe you need to do that. Or here's the other thing. Maybe confirmed all the billing details, and you said, yeah, okay, let's go through that. You complete the order, but you find out, maybe you find out like maybe a product is defective or something like that after the fact. Or someone says, hey, no, I have this already. Then maybe you need to kind of have something available on your website that will allow for the customer to um, modify after the fact. Get that refund for that one particular item and, give them that refund back to that customer and remove that item from being shipped. You know, these are all possibilities that, you know, um, business, um, a business architect should, consider, you know. All right. So we're at stage only example. In the previous online shopping case type example, the cancel order optional process can launch from the confirm billing detail stage only. During the shopping stage, there is no order for you to cancel, so the cancel order optional process is not applicable. Since an order cannot be canceled online after the order has shipped, the cancellation cannot be made online during the complete order stage, so the optional process is not applicable. But, like I've mentioned, you know, the cancellation order could be, you could arrange it in such a fashion where it can handle each of those different scenarios if you wanted to. Or you can have, like, specific cancel order processes. So it's up to you, obviously. If you're working on something similar to that, then there you go, right? Um, Case-wide example. In the previous loan example, case type. In the previous loan application case type example, you configure the update contact optional action to launch from anywhere in the case lifecycle so that agents can update customer contact information at any time during the case. Okay, check your knowledge with the following interaction. And that'll be it for this particular topic. Select the use case that requires an optional action with multiple steps. So, car insurance claim case allows the service representative to update the customer's phone number at any time. Hmm. Well, I don't know if that's a multiple step option to update the customer's phone, so I mean, this can be a optional action, but multiple step afterwards? Probably not. So we'll hold off on that for now. The design of a motor vehicle bureau license renewal case type requires a photo to be taken before the license is issued. Um, I don't think you really need an optional action for that, so we're gonna ignore that one. A call center case type includes steps for a service representative to confirm the customer's identity and record the reason for the call at the beginning of the case. Mm, I don't know if you really need a optional action on that. One would think that that would be custom, and that would be um, part of the normal process. So not necessarily optional. So I don't think that's correct. A travel application allows the customer to choose all their in-progress reservations, modify, confirm, or cancel each one, and decide whether the system keeps or deletes the details of canceled reservations. Mm, I don't. I don't think this is also an optional action. I mean, if you're working on reservations and stuff like that, one would figure that modify, confirm, and cancel is part of the primary path of the reservation. So I don't see this one as being an optional. So really the only one that has any kind of optional action to it is the first one here. So yeah, okay. Well, apparently they don't agree with that. Updating customer information requires only one screen, which makes the scenario a good use case for optional action as a single step, which I agree with. So, okay. But I don't see any of the others as being anything that's optional. So, hmm. um, I mean, the only thing that maybe comes close is this one. Series of steps that are not the usual path can be handled in an optional process. Well, here's the thing. Travel application allows the customer to choose all their in-progress reservations. Yeah, that should be part of their primary path. Modifying, confirming, or canceling each one of their, you know, reservations as they're moving along. So that should be part of their primary path. Um, and decide whether the system keeps or deletes the details of the cancel their reservations. Um, I mean, I guess that could be considered optional, maybe. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like this one really fits very well with their optional action. You know, this to me sounds more like a something that would be on the primary path. They might want to maybe add a little bit more details as to why they consider this to be, you know, optional. Then, or give their reasoning behind the optional. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna go ahead and give that to them right now. Let me do a quick snip of the question here. Okay, 1 second. Let me go ahead and save this. Let's see. Okay. Okay. I was kind of confused on your answer here. One would figure that modifying, confirming, and canceling reservations would be considered part of the primary path for a reservation application. Maybe state within the answer as to why. They the details are considered optional versus primary. I knew the first answer. With updating the customer's phone number wasn't exactly the correct answer because you specified the multiple steps for the optional action. However, it was the only one that I saw that really fit the optional action overall. Compared to the other answers. All right. All right, so that's done. Again, I don't know, you know, I don't know how they consider this as part of an optional action. You know, modifying, confirming, and canceling each one of the reservations should be part of their primary path. So I don't know how they consider that as optional. Doesn't really make any sense to me. Um, I mean, this part here, and decide whether the system keeps or deletes the details of canceled reservations. Maybe that's part of maybe that's what they consider as part of the optional action. Um, but again, that's not necessarily multiple steps either on that. So I don't know. This answer doesn't really feel like a good. Um, it doesn't really feel like it fits in this. As I stated, you know, um, having switching to something to update the customer's phone number. Obviously, that's already been confirmed before in their examples as being an optional action. Obviously, the problem is that they said with multiple steps. And you don't really need multiple steps with the customer's phone number. So, I mean, unless, of course, you have like other things that you need to do along with the phone number. I don't know. But just felt off on that. Okay, let's move on to the module quiz here. And from the looks of it, we're probably not going to be able to get to the challenge afterwards. So we're probably just going to finish off the module quiz and then close on down after that. So, all right. A martial arts studio uses a class registration case type that manages student registration for 4 optional classes throughout the week. Requirement states that students should be able to change their class registration during the registered class and confirm registration stages, but not on the SEN class details case resolution stage. Which of the following configurations support this requirement? Alright, so um, create stage-only optional actions to change the class registration on the registered class and confirm registration stages. I mean, sure. Create a case-wide optional action to change the class registration if an operator assigned to the student role is at the registered class stage. No, that's not correct. Create a case-wide optional action to change the class registration when with a when rule if the stage is equal to the registered class or confirm registration. I mean, you could do that. I could see that as a possibility. Um, Create a stage-only optional action to change the class registration on the confirm registration stage. Because the stage occurs after the registered class stage, the registered class stage inherits the action. I don't know if that one's correct. So what I'm what I'm feeling like is that it's either the first or the second action. Okay. Um, I would imagine um, that um, because it's the same kind of you know actions that the student needs to take that it should be like a case wide um, because if it's stage only then it's only specific to that one particular stage, right? So having to kind of duplicate, your programming wouldn't necessarily be ideal in that particular case, right? So one would imagine the case-wide optional action would be the correct move. Um, but I don't remember them really talking about, modifying the win rule on this. So that's why I'm kind of concerned about this. Like this seems like it's a correct answer, um, but I don't think they really discussed win rules yet. So I feel like that might be the catch on this one, and therefore might not necessarily be correct. So you cannot configure optional actions with win rules. Okay. I would wonder why, because um, you know, because this seems like it would be the correct way of going about doing things. Because you'd want, something that can handle, you know, changing the class registration in both of these stages, right? So it would be more of a case wide, but obviously you don't necessarily want it to happen during the send class details. So you would think, having like a win rule to basically say, has to either equal these two stages or not equal the send class details stage. Either one works, right? You would think that that would be something that could potentially be quite useful, but they're not saying that that's possible. Again, I don't know why. I'm not making up the rules, so I knew that the win rule there would be questionable. So the only other one that I can think of is that first one there. So, which requirement could be satisfied with an optional action? Application randomly sends a survey to customers once their case is resolved. That doesn't require an optional action. Reassign a task that remains open after 3 days to another user. I mean, you could do that. Require a separate approval process whenever an order exceeds 10,000. Hmm. I don't think you really need one for that. Um, well, no, you could do something like that. Allow user to transfer a case to another employee at any stage of the case. Um, this to me sounds like the best choice out of the bunch, but I could see that these other two could also be potentially possible. Yeah. Because the decision to transfer the case is left to the user, the requirement can be implemented as an optional action. Okay, so that's their justification of it. The fact that it's, allowing the user, um, where this is based off of time and this is based off of the amount of cash or whatever. But I mean, isn't an optional action or yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's their language in here that is kind of throwing me off. I'm thinking, optional stage, but maybe, their optional action isn't necessarily a optional stage. Doesn't necessarily fit in the same category with each other. So, like for example, if someone rejects a resume, for example, it goes to that rejection stage, right? And you like fill out some notes and stuff like that and sends off a rejection letter, right? Is that not an optional action? I don't know. Business process requirement states that users should be able to modify the shipping address at any time without interrupting the primary path of the case. Which of the following options is the best way to design for this requirement? Okay. We want to just do an optional action to the case type. You don't want to do a process because it's, you know, uh, modify the shipping address at any time without interrupting the primary path. So this add a process doesn't really work because it's all the different stages. So that doesn't work. Add a step in a process. Once again, it's all stages, not just one process, not one stage, not one step. So both of those are incorrect. You should not be selecting either one of those. Um, and add a process to an alternate stage. Well, I mean, you could do something like that, but it says without interrupting the primary path of the case. So moving to an alternate stage wouldn't necessarily allow for you to, continue your primary path, right? So that's not correct either. So first one should be the correct answer, which it is. So, all right. Now you made 100% there. I'm still kind of curious about the that first question. I want to kind of see their reasoning behind their let's see. Yeah, this one here. Um, they didn't like this one here because of the win rule. I don't see why they can't do that. One would figure that that should still work, but um, they're saying create stage-only optional actions to change the class registration on the registered class and from registration stages. They're saying that that's correct. Um, right. So you need to configure multiple stage-only optional actions to cover multiple stages, which is, to me, sounds very inefficient. You know, um, why can't you do a win rule on a case wide here? Because, you know, um, if your optional action is basically doing the same thing, then why are you basically repeating it over and over and over again to handle that? That just sounds like a waste. That sounds like, you know, uh, that doesn't necessarily fit into the module of, or the idea of, um, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Compartmentalizing, the process of being able to change the class registration. If you're able to change the class registration at any time during those two stages, then why not have it within one particular module that you can basically call forth, for both of those both of those different stages. Okay, trying to create multiple stage only optional actions feels like a waste. You're redoing the same thing over and over and over again. That seems very inefficient. So, um, in fact, I think I'm gonna kind of state that to them. Let me go ahead and save this here real quick. Hold on a second. All right. Go. Open that. Um, why does Pega not allow for the when rule to handle an if else situation here? Uh, redoing code multiple times to do the same thing sounds like a waste of time. So recreating the same thing for multiple stage only optional actions sounds like a waste of time. Why not allow the when rule to isolate the one stage out of multiple so you can streamline um, having to do a single um, optional action to cover multiple stages. Uh, sounds like that would perfect, perfectly fit. And oh, architecture. I'm misspelling architecture. There we go. All right. All right. So, well, that's it for that. And but hey, we just made to the we just got to the very end of the module, and we are hitting 3 o'clock right now. So that's where we're gonna go ahead and end it. So we're gonna leave the challenge for next time. Most likely that's gonna be a really quick build, seeing that they're stating that it's only going to take about 5 minutes. So, um, according to this challenge, only going to be about 5 minutes. So we're probably going to be moving on to automating workflow decisions after that, potentially. So, um, so consider that, you know, something that could potentially happen, tomorrow. So look forward to that. Um, we still got a ways to go before we complete this particular mission, as you can see. Um, so more to cover. So look forward to that. Um, if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to, do all that normal helpful stuff that would be great for me, in that, uh, maybe you can watch the next video when it gets released and all that, that would be great. Um, if not, that's perfectly fine too. No worries on that. But that's where we're going to go ahead and call it. So I want to thank everybody for watching the video. Feel free to comment down below if you have any kind of questions, or um, maybe you have some insights that I'm lacking that might be helpful to me and anybody else that's watching the video. Please do so. I appreciate it. And yeah, that's going to be it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording right now.